Hi guys, so following on from our discussion of arithmetic operations with decimal numbers, we are now going to discuss percentage. So percentage is also represented by this symbol at the top. So first, what does percentage mean? Well, per means divided by, and cent means 100. Therefore, percent means divided by 100. It is also represented by this percentage symbol. So 5%, this symbol here, this can be read as 5%, which is equal to 5 divided by 100. And assuming we know how to divide by 100, the answer is 0.05. So now let's discuss percentage of. Now, of in mathematics has a special meaning, and it means multiply or times. So what does 10% of 15 mean? Well, it means 10% times 15. And as we have seen from the last slide, we know what does 10% means. It means 10 over 100 times 15, which comes from the top. So we know 10 over 100 can be simplified into 1 over 10, and we continue to borrow time 15s from the last step. Now, what do we do next? Well, we know 1 over 10 can be turned into 0.1. So we get 0.1 times 15. Now this takes us back to the decimal multiplication, and if you've not seen that, you can go back to the video on decimal multiplication. So to simplify, we'll first pretend that it is not 0.1 times 15, it is 1 times 15. And that gives us just the number 15. But then we look back and we see that it was actually 0.1 times 15, and in that whole expression there's only one digit that was behind the decimal number. So that means in the final answer we should also put one digit behind the decimal number. So our final answer is no longer 15, it turns out to be 1.5. Or if we don't want to deal with decimal numbers, then we would rewrite the fraction from 2 steps above as 15 over 10. And then we will simplify that because both 15 and 10 can be divided by 5. So this becomes 3 over 2. Now, in the last slide, we asked to compute what is 10% of 15. Let's turn this question around and ask if 10% of something, say call it x, if 10% of a number x is 1.5, what is that number x? Now for that, we shall write this statement, this sentence stated in English, as a maths equation. It's not that difficult. So since we said 10% of something, and that something we represent as x, say 10% of something is 1.5, we can write it as 10% of x equals 1.5. So as we know, of in maths means times, so it can be rewritten as 10% times x equals 1.5. And we know 10% is the same as 1 over 10, because 10% is 10 over 100, and that simplifies to 1 over 10. And 1 over 10 is the same as 0.1, so we rewrite it as 0.1 times x equals 1.5. But remember, what did we want to do? We wanted to know what is this variable x, what does that represent? And we haven't really figured that out, because right next to the x, it is being multiplied by 0.1. So yes, 0.1 times x is 1.5, but what is x by itself? Now to figure that out, we shall use a technique called making x the subject of the equation. We shall discuss it in detail in the next video as well. Briefly, what we mean is we should isolate x on the left side of the equation. So to do that, we want to get rid of 0.1 from the left side of the equation. Now, since 0.1 is being multiplied by x, to get rid of it, we can divide by 0.1 as well. But because we have an equation, whatever we do on the left side, we must also do on the right side, because otherwise the equation will be unbalanced. So we divide both sides of the equation by 0.1. Now, as we divide the left side by 0.1, we see 0.1 on the left side will cancel out from the numerator and the denominator. So on the left side, we just have x. Okay, whereas on the right side, we have 1.5 divided by 0.1. So now we have made x the subject of this equation, and this is helpful because the computation on the right side will tell us what is the value of x. And to do that, we can do decimal division on the right side. That is, we remove the decimals from the numerator, which is on the top, and denominator by multiplying by 10 and dividing by 10. So, and the numerator, which is at the top, 1.5 times 10 gives us 15. Whereas in the bottom, 0.1 times 10 gives us just 1. So that is 15 over 1, which is 10. Now, which is just 15. So that completes the discussion of percentages. In the next video, we shall discuss changing the subject in more detail. So see you there.